Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for an easy and fast way of grinding weapon XP and leveling up your weapons in Modern Warfare 2, I may have just found the perfect method for you to try out. You don't have to play super sweaty and go for high kills, and you don't have to run around meleeing people with a rocket launcher anymore. This method is going to be utilizing the game mode called Knockout. This is a game mode where two teams fight over a bag of cash, and the killer is that the player who's holding the bag gets score and XP every second that they're holding it. Now this is what we're going to be utilizing. This does work solo, but it works even better if you got a friend. So if you have one friend that's online, invite them up and maybe take turns using this method. Let's take a look at the class setup, then I'll show you the actual method, and then we'll take a look at the results afterward. Now here's the class setup, and you can see right now that I'm working on the rocket launcher. Now that kind of changes what you're going to have here in your primary and secondary weapons. Because I'm using a rocket launcher, for that primary, I'm going with a riot shield. That's going to make it just a little bit easier to kind of defend if I need to, and it'll also be helpful if you're doing this with a friend, and I'll get into that in a second. So I've got the riot shield and the Strela. For the tactical, I'm using a smoke grenade, and that's because when you want to go and run up and grab the objective, you want to lay a smoke screen so that you can run in there. People can't see you because you're going to be pretty vulnerable running toward that objective, but your most important thing to do is get in there and get that quickly. So lay a smoke screen on that objective, run in and get it. That's going to be super helpful for that. The lethal, I'm going with throwing knife. You don't necessarily need this. Kind of depends on the weapon. For rocket launchers is a great option because that makes it a one-hit melee. And if people get up close to you and that's the only way you can kill them, there you go. It also helps as a last-ditch save. You can run something else if you're using, say, an assault rifle or something else that isn't so freaking horrible to kill people with. This is what I got for the perk package. I'm going with extra tactical so you can have more smoke. I'm going with tracker just so you have a better idea of where people are. You can see their footsteps, especially if you're using a launcher. That's helpful. But also just overall, you can kind of see if people are coming, going, whatever. Fast hands allows you to switch weapons and reload a lot quicker. Great for launchers as well. That doesn't necessarily have to be in there for something different, but I think it really works. And then overclock, that just helps you get your field upgrade a little bit faster, and that's going to be really important because the field upgrade we're going here with is actually trophy system. And you can have a second one too, but trophy system is the big one because if you're hunkering down and holding down this bag, you're going to want to be able to stop explosives from blowing you up and ruining your XP grind. Now, if you're not working on a rocket launcher and you're using, say, an assault rifle and an SMG or a sniper SMG, something like that, you obviously don't need the riot shield because you can actually defend yourself a little bit better, but you also don't necessarily need the same perk package setup. You might want overkill for that reason, and so you can ditch the tracker. I'd still keep the extra tactical though, just for the smoke capabilities. With that class setup, you want to go ahead and jump out into the knockout game mode. Now if you're doing this solo, once the round starts, simply run, grab the objective, make sure you put that smoke screen down, and then run to a spot where it's going to be easy for you to camp and defend, or sorry, sentinel and defend. Basically, you're thinking a two-story building with one staircase, a building with maybe one, maybe two exits, or another easily defendable position. It helps to put a trophy system down. That way, if people are trying to clear you out with a Semtex, C4, Thermite, or whatever, that can help with that. You want to do whatever you have to do to hunker down because, as you can see, that score is going to go up every single second that you're holding the bag. That's about it. Rinse and repeat. Try to last as long as you can. I know if your teammates die, that obviously gets hard, and you can't defend everyone all by yourself. Well, I mean, if you're good enough, you can, but maybe you're not. Basically, do this over and over, and that's about it. Just go in, smoke screen, grab the objective, and run away like a giant wuss. If you have a friend that can help you with this, it's even better. You can swap out the smoke grenades for decoys and let them put down the smoke screen, and you can throw out those decoy grenades for a little bit of extra XP bonus. If you didn't know, when those decoy grenades go off near a gunfight, you actually get XP for distracting the enemies. Another thing that you can do is just have someone to defend you a little bit better if you're using something, say, like the Joker or a rocket launcher, where you're not able to really shoot people quickly. They can kind of help cover for you. And it just adds a little bit more defense if you're trying to hunker down and hold that for a long time. And it adds another option to where if they happen to be a little bit ahead of you, they can grab that, run back, and hand it off to you. And then you can take turns doing that either game. Of course, that'll be a little bit slower, but if you think that you're struggling doing it solo, it might be better off in the long run to do it with a friend, even though you might be earning a little bit less XP. A couple tips to help you make this just a little bit more effective. Never use the ghost perk with this class setup. I personally said I use overclock. You can switch that out if you want, but don't use ghost because you're going to be constantly marked if you're holding the bag. Also, don't always take the bag back to the same spot to defend. Choose a couple different spots that you think are pretty defendable and rotate between those so that the enemies don't get too wise to what you're doing. A few good spots are like this one, the 2-story building onto rock, 1 staircase up, you throw a trophy system in there, you're good to go. There's a couple buildings on Santa Senya border that are pretty good. That you can just have your friend watch one door, you can watch the other, you can hide in the back. That's not too bad either. And then even on Crown Raceway, when there's a lot of like open lines of sights, long line of sights, open areas, you can even find some good buildings and some spots like back of spawn mostly that are pretty good for holding it down too. That's about all there is to this method. And if you take a look at our results, I was able to level up my rocket launchers an entire level each match that we played. So it's pretty good. It might not be the absolute fastest, but for what you have to do, which is not very much, it's really laid back. It's pretty relaxing, honestly. As long as you get that objective and you go hide, you're making XP, and I think it's a pretty effective way of leveling up. Let me know if you've tried this personally or if you have any other ways of leveling up your weapons. I know a lot of people are working on those. I'm working on the camo grind myself this year, and I've been working really hard on it. So hopefully this makes it easier for me, and I hope it makes it easier for you too. Thanks for checking out the video. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, drop a like and leave a comment. I appreciate hearing the feedback. Subscribe if you want. I got videos coming out, and I'm streaming my camo grind too. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. We'll be right back.